What's up guys, Justin here of Yugatech, and despite the limited infrastructure, smartphone manufacturers continue to pursue 5G in their devices. That means we can expect the new connectivity standard trickle down to more affordable devices. And this is where the Huawei Nova 7 SE comes in. Besides the 5G availability, it also packs a Kirin A20 chip, 8GB of RAM, 40 watts supercharge, and a total of 5 cameras. Now, is that 5G support enough to get this phone despite the lack of Google mobile services? Keep on watching. Compared to other Huawei mid-range devices, the Nova 7 SE stands out with a curved glass back protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. It has a thick metal frame that adds to its durability as well. Our unit came in a glossy space silver colorway which blends to a pinkish hue towards the bottom of the device. Nonetheless, you can also opt for the crushed green color. Now, while it does steal the attention of whoever sees it, it's also a fingerprint magnet, so better put a case on. The camera module is arranged vertically towards the upper left corner of the device, and it is a rather tall module that gives a bump, giving you even more reasons to use the included clear case. Turning the device over reveals the large 6.5-inch IPS display with slim bezels all around. The Nova 7 SE gets a punch hole module for the selfie camera on the upper left corner of the screen. Located on the left is the dual nano SIM tray which supports Huawei's nano memory cards up to 256GB. Meanwhile, on the right are the volume rockers and power button which doubles as the fingerprint scanner. The buttons are located in a comfortable spot with the fingerprint scanner sitting exactly where my thumb naturally rests when gripping the device. The volume rocker, however, feels in an odd short spot, so it may take some time to get used to. On top, you'll find its secondary microphone, while at the bottom are its speaker grill, USB Type-C port, main microphone, and a 3.5mm audio jack. Overall, for design, the Huawei Nova 7 SE is a glam smartphone. It's not as thick as other mid-range Huawei devices, and the curved back helps the device feel even sleeker. Moving on to display. This is most likely the first thing you'll notice when opening the device. We get a large 6.5-inch LTPS IPS display. It has a maximum resolution of 2400 by 1080 pixels and it allows you to turn it down to 1600 by 720 pixels in the settings. You can also adjust its color and temperature to whatever your eyes prefer. For an IPS screen, its quality is really not that bad. Images appear sharp with enough details and excellent viewing angles. The panel itself is of high quality with high color accuracy and deep blacks. There's no noticeable backlight bleeding and its outer visibility is also good. The punch hole camera isn't the smallest we've seen, but it's placed almost at the edge, so it's not completely distracting. As for audio, it can outmatch most mid-range devices with its punchy bass and detailed sound. However, its loudness is typical for smartphones in its price. Then again, if you want a better audio experience, then we suggest that you take advantage of its headphone jack. Moving on to software, the Nova 7 SE runs on Huawei's EMUI 10.1 out of the box, which is based on Android 10. As expected, navigation is easy and you get all the standard options including choosing between gestures, navigations, and soft buttons. There's an app drawer option and you can enjoy its other nifty features such as ebook mode, dark mode, phone clone, wireless projection, and digital balance. As you may already know, it doesn't support Google mobile services, so don't come looking for pre-installed Google apps. Instead, you can rely on Huawei's improving app gallery. So Huawei's app gallery has most of the apps that I use on a daily basis. And sideloading apps can be easy, but the act itself is still a hassle. Do you get me? Anyways, we managed to place some apps for benchmarking as well as YouTube in it. While most of them work well, after some time we encountered some problems that we can no longer use such. So I wouldn't really count on sideloading apps. To compensate, you can search for specific apps in the app gallery and it will lead you immediately to the native browser, which honestly is a different experience, but it works. Under the hood, the Huawei Nova 7 SE runs on a Kirin A20 octa-core CPU with a Mali G57 GPU. It also comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. In our experience, the phone offered amazing performance as the Kirin A20 was able to score just 20,000 points less than Huawei's previous P30 series in Antutu. Now feel free to pause the video to see the benchmark scores we got. Evidently, the phone was able to handle even the most demanding tasks such as gaming without any frame dips and noticeable stuttering. Multitasking was also a breeze thanks to its generous 8GB of RAM. Talk about security, you can unlock the Nova 7 SE via face unlock and the side-mounted fingerprint scanner. They're both reliable and respond fast with, of course, the fingerprint scanner reacting quicker. So let's talk about connectivity. As mentioned earlier, the Nova 7 SE comes with a 5G capable Kirin A20 chip. However, do note that only the primary SIM can connect via 5G while the secondary SIM is limited to 4G. Aside from that, other connectivity features include dual-band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.1, and GPS. Again, 5G connectivity is limited as of the creation of this review, but on the bright side, you won't worry about connecting to it once it becomes widely available. Okay, moving over to battery, it comes with a 4000 mAh capacity with Huawei's 40W supercharged support. In our standard video loop test where we loop a 1080p video at 50% brightness, 0% volume, and airplane mode turned on, the device managed to get 16 hours and 1 minute, which is pretty good. Charging the device from 0 to full takes less than an hour and a half. Finally, let's talk more about its cameras. The Huawei Nova 7 SE comes with 4 rear cameras consisting of a 64-megapixel primary, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, a 2-megapixel depth, and a 2-megapixel macro shooter. Meanwhile, a 16-megapixel shooter sits in a punch-hole camera module on the top left corner of the display. The rear photos produced by the Nova 7 SE is incredibly detailed thanks to its large 64-megapixel primary shooter. This translates well even when taking photos in unnatural light. Color reproduction works vividly with a decent dynamic range. We also get sharp details, especially in well-lit scenarios. The color profile of the 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens was similar to the primary shooter, although dark areas do lose some detail. Digitally zooming in by the maximum 10 times also managed to produce decently detailed shots. Just make sure you have really good lighting. Selfies came out nice too, even with less than ideal lighting. It does, however, introduce a lot of post-processing even with beauty mode turned off. Also, we'd like to note that when taking a selfie, the preview from the camera app looks boosted with smoother skin tones and brighter light. But afterwards, when you look at the photos themselves, they look more natural. As for videos, the Huawei Nova 7 SE is capable of shooting up to 4K at 30 frames per second. Stabilization was decent at 4K with good exposure despite shooting under broad daylight. The camera was also able to focus well, however turning quickly does lose clarity due to the limiting FPS. One more thing for videos is the option to shoot in dual view, so you can shoot via the front and rear cameras at the same time. When it comes to price, the Huawei Nova 7 SE gets a 19,990 pesos price tag. It's definitely a well-rounded device that performs harmoniously in all aspects. It has an amazing IPS display, a solid mid-range chip, capable cameras, respectable battery life, and of course, 5G connectivity. All of its upsides are of course magnified by its affordable price. But I'm pretty sure that the lack of Google mobile services has been running through your head while watching this video. I can't blame you, and it's the biggest aspect that may turn people away. While most Google applications such as YouTube and Gmail can be accessed via the browser, Huawei's app gallery doesn't have all the apps that are available on the Google Play Store. For example, in order to use Facebook and Reddit, you're going to need to download its APK elsewhere. Generally, you still need the help of third-party app stores. That being said, most important apps I use such as BPI mobile app, Gcash, and Viber are already on the app gallery, and the catalog is still growing. So if you're already a fan of Huawei's EMUI and don't mind the extra hassle of sideloading a few apps or the lack of Google services in general, then the Huawei Nova 7 SE is an easy phone to recommend to people who are looking to get a 5G capable device today. But if you want the best out-of-the-box experience with minimal inconvenience, well, you may want to look elsewhere. Now we'll pass the question to you. Would you buy this well-rounded Huawei Nova 7 SE 5G despite not having Google mobile services? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like, we really appreciate it. Subscribe to our channel for more content. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Justin, and don't forget to wash your hands and stay at home.